Welcome to the 100 Master Coaches series featuring master coaches from around the world. Let's journey together on this 100 Master Coaches series with your host, Coach Mel, MCC. Hellen Yang is a master certified coach, known for her empowering approach and unique ability to help coaches and leaders build unwavering confidence. With over 3,000 plus coaching hours and 13 years in the corporate finance sector, Hellen brings a deep sense of curiosity, empathy, and calming presence to her work. Her coaching ripples have been felt in Fortune 500 companies like Meta, Google, IBM, and PwC. She is passionate about helping coaches and leaders become their most confident selves, ignite their careers, achieve financial wellness, and tackle their wildest goals. Now on to the show.
Hello, and welcome to the 100 Master Coaches show. This is Coach Mal, and today my special guest is all the way from Vancouver, Canada. Please give a warm welcome to Hellen Yang. Welcome to the show, Hellen.
Thank you, Mel.
Where would you like to start? Just like in normal coaching sessions, right? We ask our clients.
Yeah.
Where would you like to start today, Hellen?
Okay, I'm listening to my body right now. I do have this little butterfly in my tummy.
Okay.
And yeah, I just kind of want to name what's in a space for me right now first is because often, in coaching session, I put a spotlight on my clients.
Yeah.
And this particular moment feels like, the spotlight's on both of us. So I think it just, feeling the little bit of energy through that spotlight. Yeah, a few butterflies just kind of going back and forth here.
And then those butterflies are beautiful. And, we're going to obviously have a great time. So I'm going to ask one of the butterflies, where has that journey before coaching taken you?
Yeah, thank you for picking up that butterfly. It all dated back, I'd say from the day I was born.
Oh, wow.
In Wuhan, China. And sensing the city kind of became famous because of the COVID.
I was just tempted to go there, but I didn't want to, but you opened it up. So yeah, I could have started off introducing you originally from Wuhan, China. It's very interesting. That's sad. But,
Yes,
I'm sure Wuhan was an amazing place growing up for you.
it was.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. It was a really cool city. Temperature-wise, it's really hot, especially during the summertime. There's a metaphor. It's like you can literally crack an egg and do a sunny side of an egg on the ground.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So lots of great memories. Born in a really loving family, and that's
Nice.
where I would say my parents are very open, supportive.
Yeah.
And I think that openness, like just being open, it kind of just like I inherited that from my parents. And just throughout the journey, I just say I was just really open to learn new things, open to learn new languages. Like English is my second language. Yeah. So I'm open to explore the world. And that's what brought me, 20 years later. I spent my first 20 years in Wuhan, China. And then I moved to Vancouver, Canada to pursue a higher education and learn English. Actually, at the time, I didn't speak a word of English to start with.
That's amazing. Such a great adventure. And all the way to Vancouver. I'm just trying to find that link there. Was it because you had family or connections over there? What was that reason?
No.
Okay.
No one.
Okay.
No one.
Okay.
And it was a curiosity. My father, he was really curious on, I wonder what happens if we send our daughter to Vancouver, Canada, and learn some English, get some higher education, and see what happens. Because she used to be a rebellious one.
Okay. But it was his openness that allowed you to embody that openness as well, as you were saying, and allow you to explore out in the open.
That's it. Yeah, I appreciate you just kind of helping me reflect on that. Like it is him being open, and then there's one thing that he always tells me is like go do what makes you come alive.
Wow.
And
That's
I'm the only child. Just imagine how difficult that is for Chinese family or parents who later on literally commented that, oh, we gave a birth to a daughter to Canada.
And the daughter is still in Canada.
The daughter is still in Canada.
After X amount of years, I won't say how long, maybe short, I don't know. You're looking fine. So I'm just saying, over X amount of years, what was it like when your parents came to Vancouver for the very first time to visit?
I was really excited. Like just to show them like what I was, experiencing, what I was eating, where I was living, and all the just mountains and oceans that's different from China. Yeah. I felt like it was my responsibility to show them a different world that they actually created for me.
Yeah. It's giving me goosebumps, just listening to your story and seeing how the vision of a person to see it happen for their family and live it through the life of what you have successfully done. And I'm sure they're really proud of you, Hellen.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. And yeah, that's where when you ask where all this, began, I would say really trace it back to them, thanks to my mom and dad. Using the coaching language is really like they made me naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. So now I get to really, try to find a gift in everything and then see everything as a teacher.
Wow. All right. So let's move from that to the life in Vancouver, if it's okay.
Yes.
I hear that you were in finance and then moving into the different roles that you play.
Yeah, for sure. It was really a college job to begin with.
Okay.
Where I needed a part-time job. I left the Starbucks actually before that. I was a barista.
There you go.
Years
Starbucks.
ago. Yeah.
Good place.
Very good place. Yeah. And it's a Starbucks at the airport, Vancouver airport.
Okay.
So I get to meet different travelers. Learn different languages again.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was one of the highlights. So after Starbucks, yes, the finance, I was, looking for a more stable part-time job while I was going through my undergrad at the Langara College in Vancouver. Yeah. So I wasn't thinking much. I just walking on to the street, had like 12 resumes printed, on my hand, and then all of a sudden I saw like 4 different banks at the intersection. So I thought maybe that's a sign. I'll walk in and then try. So I walked in like all first 3, I gave it to them. They took away, nothing happened. And then I went to the fourth one. The branch manager was available at the time. Basically, she took me in. She's like, well, let's have a chat. And the next day I knew I was hired. Yeah. Wow. And also thanks to my heritage being Chinese, she actually said, my branch is not currently hiring, but I know the branch in Chinatown is looking for someone who's bilingual. Wow. So I was like, wow, there's a natural gift.
It is.
I was just gonna say, and literally the rest is history. Like I stayed in the same bank for it's actually credit union for 13 years.
There you go. Not giving up at number 3, going to number 4, even though the Chinese number of number 4 is not very good. I know. Dead zone, but you went, right? You went.
That's right.
Hey, that openness got you there.
Yes, 13 years.
I've never stayed in a place longer than 4 years. I think in my careers, 4 years is like, get me out of here. But 13 years is amazing. Tell me 1 or 2 highlights from that 13 years. What were some of those key people that you met along the way that kind of helped you?
That's a good question. There are 2 people, especially. The first, I would say, actually both of them are the ones that believed in me.
Wow.
In my ability, in who I am. I still remember the first manager called me the Energizer Bunny. And just going for the aliveness. Like I was alive and I just went for, whatever that was making me come alive. So one of the highlight was I was really big on financial literacy. And there were quite a few years I was going to different colleges and high school, especially high school and middle school, to help high school students with their financial literacy. Yeah, and then just teach them around what is money, what's your relationship with money. So when money can be a tool, and what's your belief system about money and how it's serving you or not serving you.
Yeah.
And just kind of introducing money to an early age. And that's also kind of another sort of pivotal moment. I kind of tasted a little bit of calling in me around being an educator or a facilitator. I didn't know coach at the time, but I was thinking this is something I'm gifted where I could, be in one-on-one or group space and then share my knowledge, share my experiences. Especially at that time I was in a financial, space. So that's where I share everything I know about money. Let's talk about money. It doesn't have to be cold, transactional. It can be, warm and uplifting and inspiring. So that was a pivotal moment through this really inspiring manager that believed in me and say, Helen, go, leave the branch, go out to the school, be part of the community. And then that's also one thing about this credit union as part of their core value is community-based.
Yeah, so good. These sounds like building blocks to helping you venture into this space of coaching. I don't know whether that story continues into that, right? But we're exploring. Right?
Yeah.
And so after 13 years, I mean, what made you take that leap of faith, I guess? Because 13 years it's long commitment, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that actually leads to my second influential manager, actually from the same place. That literally dated back to 5 years ago, where I was in the middle of divorce.
Okay. And
a career transition. I would say one of the darkest times in my life, and especially being Asian, like divorce it's not been looked at like as a good thing. Yeah, it's constantly being judged, and so I had a lot of struggles, a sense of shame, and it's like am I really good enough? Yeah, so all those doubts start happening, and then paired with a career transition is being in the same role for let's say a good 7 years after, and then I was wondering okay, where do I go from here?
Yeah.
So lack of direction, lack of clarity, and with all the doubt and the shame and the guilt, like just everything, just it's a mixed bag of emotions that I was carrying, and then not sure what to do about it. Yeah. And then that was the moment, again, going back to the openness. Being open didn't stop me. So I was, as much as I was just feeling so stuck, and I was telling myself, you know what? Let's still, be open to learn something new, be open to explore, to travel, to maybe meet new people. So that led me back to Colombia alone, and then fell in love with the salsa. This is something about the salsa dancing, like you just
nice
again comes alive again. Yeah.
For a moment, I thought salsa was a boyfriend or something. It's like, oh, you met salsa, but it's the dance. Okay, the rhythm. Okay, the rhythm's leading you to something.
I feel like you have a good intuition here. Yeah.
Please continue.
That's it. I think good intuition, because literally after Colombia, I went back to Vancouver. I was like, yes, I'm gonna register for salsa class.
There you go.
and that's where I met my soulmate, and now my husband.
Woo!
Yes. Yeah. So again, being open to travel, to explore.
Yeah.
So immediately he actually had a trip to go to the Philippines. So I said,
Oh,
oh, can I
wow.
tag along? Even though we were just dating. And then so we went. And then that's where I learned about coaching from
Wow.
his best friend.
That's
Yeah, who's been
amazing.
in the coaching space for like years. And then so the rest is the history.
Oh my gosh. I never knew about certain parts of it. Of course, not the salsa. And then the Philippines. You had to go from Vancouver to the Philippines to connect with coaching. You know?
Yes. Physically travel
Yeah,
across
yeah.
the
There you
ocean.
go.
Yeah.
There you go. Wow. So big kudos to your boyfriend at that point of time and to
Yes.
you for having that same exploration spirit, that open spirit to allow yourself to tag along and look where it's got you. So tell me more. At that point, you bumped into that world of coaching. Did you jump in immediately, or what happened next?
Yeah, of course.
Wow,
Being
really?
open to try new things.
Okay.
So first, thanks to Eileen, she's the best friend of my husband
Oh,
now,
wow.
and now she became my best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she introduced me to coaching, and then she's like, "Go back to Vancouver, try this," and I tried. So I would say during my just first, it was a 3-day intensive coaching course in
Yeah.
person at the
Yeah.
time. It was the first time in a long time that I like truly felt being listened to without any judgment. And that was magical.
Mm.
And the magic continued, like it literally awoken something in me. And it gives me permission to be, like to live a fully lived life.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my laptop of keyboards. So the keyboard metaphor came to me as like a playing piano. Like
Yeah.
really, it's giving myself permission to play all 88 keys on the piano,
Wow.
not 28, not even 58. Yeah, because I used to just play like a nice 28 keys. Like yeah, it's good. It sounds okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but really kind of giving myself permission to venture out, to no longer walk on an eggshell, to no longer meet myself,
Yeah.
to no longer like be a wallflower. So that
Well done.
happened.
Well done.
Thank you.
Hmm. Such a beautiful space. And I kind of felt that you didn't just walk into that. You kind of felt like you had it in you for a while now. And it's just being open to walk into that space. It's like the curtains roll back for you and you saw the fullness of it. And you walked in. And that's when life in its fullness began for you.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
Mm.
Took a lots of tears. Yeah, I would say it literally I feel like I had to like break myself down completely. Just to actually see, because there were times I didn't even want to see all of me.
Yeah.
Maybe only wanted to see the good part of me or the good part that others see of me.
That's right.
And yeah, and it was hard. And it was hard to see all the good, good, bad, and ugly part of me.
Yeah.
And then say, you're all part of me. I love you all. I accept you all. And I operate from that place.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Helen, this is the same that we do, or we allow the whole being of ourselves and the whole acceptance of the person in front of us, right? As you were saying that, I had this picture of the person in front of us just seeing the 28 keys, right? And because we have that peripheral view, of the 88. We're not forcing them to go there, but we're saying there's so much more. And I believe in you. Even before they believed in themselves. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
So the journey began. You went into it. I'm just, curious again, because 13 years of that, and then suddenly walking into this, I know it took you that journey of, allowing yourself to feel and to appreciate all of the good, bad, and the ugly, as you said. What happened next? After you've done all of that, what happened next for you?
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, it start from that inside out approach. Once I start to really accept like self-acceptance, and apply also self-authority, like a self-authorship. So really take space and then take a stand for what matters to me, what I value. And then that became my core, almost like inner compass. Yeah. So I would say just from that moment on, I made a secret wish. Not just a wish, it was a commitment to myself that I want to live and breathe in coaching. Yeah. It may sound like impossible, but it is possible. Because it's how you've been present with like a coaching mindset, coaching approach.
Yeah.
And the other word is it's really like, I would say, coaching is not only a great tool for effective communication and unpack human potential.
Yeah.
It is really a way of being. Something just came to me as I love food. And
Same.
a wise guy once, a wise coach actually once said, we are what we eat. We are what we practice. And it's a constant reminder and intentionality on what am I eating every day?
Yeah.
What am I feeding to myself?
Wow.
What are the words, energy, and mindset, or even environment that I'm creating and feeding inwardly as well as outwardly, because it's all relational. So that's what I meant by like living and breathing in coaching.
And it's so true, right? I call it the lifestyle. If we can make it an everyday thing, just like what you're saying, it's no longer just a tool that we use. It's no longer just, something that we can put on and just be for a while, and then we can put it off. And I begin to realize that for myself too. The best part of coaching is about the embodiment. And it's about that presence that we bring into any space. And sometimes it's not even our presence, but it is that holistic mindset. When we come into a place, there's a chance for potential possibilities, perspectives to come alive.
And then, as you were saying, what I was reflecting on is a few months ago, I made an intentional reframe on my to-do list. Because usually I have a lot to-do list. And sometimes it brings a different kind of feelings like, it's like, oh my gosh, another to-do list. But then I was telling myself, wait a second, I take them on. So what is it that I actually wanted to experience? And then it reconnected to my value as like, I'm not a material or thin kind of girl, but more of an experienced girl. So I literally just changed the word. Instead of to-do list is experience list.
Oh, wow.
And every day I look at it, I check in with myself on, okay, what do I want to experience today? And who do I want to experience with?
Yeah.
and
So
4.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. And the moment I start to, thinking about experiences and I came alive again.
Oh my gosh. That thing that you just said could just be the reframe of millions of people out there that needed to hear it. We all have a to-do list, or maybe just the structured, process-driven people.
Just a few of us.
Just a few of us. Maybe, you know. Thank you for the reframe. I'm gonna start using it. Thank you, Helen. The experience list. So wonderful. It's like, what do I want to experience today? Right? What I want to welcome today could even be the welcome list. Ooh, it's welcoming you in. There you go. Maybe that's for me. The magical list. Oh, wow.
Now you got all the meaningful list. So you make the list meaningful to you. Then what you do and how you're being is meaningful. And that actually, going back to the finance background that I have, I kept thinking about the compound interest effect. and then just imagine if you gave yourself permission to have 1 second or 1 minute of meaningful experience that you wanted, that you can control or design, then you locked in that compound interest experience. And then you build it from there. And you build from there. A week later, a month later, a year later, you look back.
That's true.
You can actually tell yourself, wow, I had a great year.
Mm-hmm.
So compound interest.
That's so true. There needs to be a book about this.
In the making, I'm thinking about it.
There you go. Compound interest. That's so powerful as a concept. For me, I think of stacking up. Just like if I were to stack up pancakes, which don't worry, I'm not a pancake stacker. I love to have fruits. If I had pancakes, it's got to be topped up with a lot of fresh fruits, right? So that's my compound. It's like stack it up with the good stuff. And of course, the maple syrup. Okay. Gotta have some of that.
Yes,
gotta have some of that. Helen, that journey to mastery, I hear, because obviously, this is the program for mastery.
Yes.
The journey to mastery, how different was that journey versus, when you started out as a coach, that the whole drill about getting core competency in, getting the right question, having, aha moments in your session, all the things that we thought were important. Let me just say that. And then to a state of nothingness or emptiness, presence. And how did that shift happen for you?
Well, that goes to another pivotal moment.
Okay.
Where I would say is one of the bravest things that I've ever done. Quitting my 13-year corporate job.
There you go.
At age 40. I don't know if it's too late or too early. It's the right time.
It is always the right time.
Here's another adventure. I moved because my husband took on a pretty cool work assignment. So we said yes to adventure. So we moved from West Coast, Vancouver, Canada, to the Deep South, Mobile, Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah, as for his temporary work, and then that also aligns with me. Dive right into my full-time entrepreneurship.
Yes.
In coaching.
Yeah.
So I would say that's where the deeper level of mastery start to come. Where part of me, be my own boss or working for myself, I have all the freedom. And at the same time, I gave myself all the stress on am I performing, did I do it right? So definitely it wasn't all like rainbows and unicorns. It was a lot of struggles. It's like going into a maze again and hitting some dead ends. And still, I have to say, because the openness, I pick up some gifts along the way from the dead ends. Yeah. And to answer your question on the mastery, not saying that everyone has to do that.
Yeah.
As one of the food related impact, I quit coffee. You must wonder, what does quitting coffee have to do with becoming an MCC? Well, it has everything to do with it.
Okay.
It's one is to be of a choice.
Yeah.
For my body, for my energy. Because I was relying on coffee way too much, like 4-5 cups a day.
Yeah.
I wasn't in control of my own body energy. Like I couldn't even regulate. And then I noticed it's actually impacting my coaching negatively. And that's one of the pieces I start to, reflect on. Okay, something has got to change. So that was the motivation. I want to be able to regulate my energy well, be of a choice, be able to hold the container first for myself. Then I know I can hold my clients bigger than they can hold themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. And without coffee, something magically happened. It just in my body regulation. I feel like I was in, that Matrix movie. If you watch
Yes, of course.
Members, it's like before, when I was drinking coffee or not having those coaching mindset, when clients are talking, it's like shooting bullets, like left and right and the center so fast. I was like, oh, where to catch it? Which sentence to grab? And it's like,
gosh.
it's gonna hit me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after I made that commitment, I mean, it was one of the big factors in my life. It's like all of a sudden, everything becomes slow-mo. The later on, he was able to just like dodge and then catch. Like I was able to see it. The clients are still talking fast, with multiple things happening in the space. I was like, oh, I can see it. I can hear it. and then I was able to grab the bullet, as I see,
That's
that would
amazing.
serve the client in the space.
Yeah.
And I just experienced it. And that was it. And I just continuing, giving myself permission to say, hey, this is what I wanted. And it's good for me. And I still, I wouldn't say I quit coffee completely. Like afterwards, on weekends, I still enjoy, the flavor. So I do some decaf specialty latte for myself as a treat. But beautiful. Monday to Friday, I was disciplined.
You walk back into the matrix,
Yes.
Wow. I've never heard it that way before. This is the first. And, for those listening to this session of yours, Hellen, I'm sure that they will start to find their own metaphors, their own story, their own examples, like what you have, right, with coffee and being in that movie. Right? It is real life. It is a real experience. Very true. I feel the same way. For me, it's hearing a whole mess of things that is in front of me. But then very soon it's a reframe for me. It's no longer a mess. It's a beautiful tapestry of life going on. And it all needs to coexist to allow some beauty to come out. Not guiding or leading them there, but appreciating it, so that any one of that part of the beauty can come up for them. And when they're ready, right, when they're open themselves, when they're wanting it a little bit more, something new to happen in their life, and that's when wonderful things happen. So holding that space, as we say it, right, holding that space,
and going back to what start with creating a space in you first. And coffee might be just my story, my example of where, I won't let coffee influence, my space.
Yeah.
So I can come into client's space in the neutralist way.
Mm.
That, and then be able to hold that space for them and feel their energy, feel their space. Once again, not being contaminated or influenced by my own.
Yeah. What's the future looking like for you, Hellen?
Keep doing what makes me come alive. Yeah. That's it. Another kind of personal story is I love watching zombie movies, by the way.
You're my good friend. I look out for all those movies, series or movie. It's got to be watched. Okay, anyway,
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah. So
please.
Love the zombie movies, love The Walking Dead. However, I never ever wanted to live as a Walking Dead.
Wow, that's
so
true.
That's my metaphor for what's the future. To say, if you notice yourself kind of embodying the Walking Dead,
Yeah.
Consciously, what unconsciously,
Yeah.
Maybe hire a coach, get help, and then see where you can, find your own liveness and then fill it up with what's meaningful, and then go out, do that again.
That's true. Don't get shot as the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Hey, bad things happen to the Walking Dead people, if the car rammed them or someone says, I gotta take them out, they're this dangerous. Yeah. Catch yourself before that happens.
Yes. But they're resilient, they'll come back.
Oh yeah, they come back. They come back.
Yeah.
Very,
like
very
those
strong.
saboteurs.
Absolutely. Yeah. Until they're invited to a different space, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And begin to be brave enough to explore those stuff like you have in your growing up journey to coaching. What would be a little message that you want to send to young budding coaches coming into our industry?
Well, I just say, first, start before you're ready.
Start before you're ready. I like that.
It's like the chicken or the egg, right? Like you got to do something to start.
That's true.
Start before you're ready and just keep practicing.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to ask for help. We're all here, part of your community. Yeah. That's where I wish I had a mental coach earlier to guide me. Yeah.
Wonderful. It's been a pleasure hosting you, Hellen. Really. Just thinking back, there's so many stories that you shared from your life and also personal ones, very close to your heart. Not so easy ones as well. So I really appreciate all of that openness as, hey, we started off with that word and you truly live it, embody it so beautifully. So thank you.
Thank you, Mel, for having me here. Yeah. And then, listen to my story.
Any last words at all before we go?
Believe in yourself. Even when if you feel no one's believing in you, you have to believe in yourself.
Amen. I agree. Totally. Once again, thank you, Hellen. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Mel. Likewise.
This is the 100 Master Coaches show together with Hellen and myself, Mel. We'll catch you on the next one. Till then, stay safe, be well, and continuously be open to what comes ahead of you. Take care now. Bye-bye.
You have been watching the 100 Master Coaches series with your host, Coach Mel, MCC. Brought to you by Catalyst Coach. www.catalystcoach.live. We will be right back with our next Master Coach on the 100 Master Coaches series.